Today on the CTV News at 5, a Lethbridge man is charged for jumping off the high-level bridge. Plus, only 1 week left for the penny. And hockey players roll up their sleeves for a blood battle.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. A 25-year-old Lethbridge man has been charged with trespassing after jumping off Lethbridge's high-level bridge with a parachute. The stunt was videotaped on Saturday. Jan.29 says he was fulfilling a lifelong dream, but is not encouraging anyone to break the law or take a risk that they're not properly trained for. Terry Vogt reports.
The 70-second video shows 25-year-old Johnny Corthius walking out onto the highest and longest railway bridge of its kind in the world, standing on the railing and base jumping 314 feet to the river valley below. For Corthius, taking risks is nothing new. He's an adventure athlete and performer well known for his extreme cycling demonstrations to promote sports equipment and cycling safety. He once broke his neck and was told he would never walk again.
I just want to clear up that my motives are not to be, reckless or to be badass or to be anything like that, but I just simply had a goal, one that I had been looking forward to, achieving for a long time.
Corthius says with the support of his sponsors and others, he was recently able to gain the experience and knowledge to achieve that goal. He says it felt great, but now he's starting to realize it may have been taken the wrong way.
By no means did I, ever want to inspire unsafe or illegal behavior. Safety is priority one. You want to be able to do the things that you love for your whole life rather than just, getting reckless and doing things for the adrenaline rush.
Corthius says the video is a collaboration with one of his sponsors, and what happens to it is out of his control. In the meantime, he's been charged with trespassing, a ticket that carries a $287 fine.
Well, as a police service, we're concerned that the notoriety this video seems to be generating could potentially lead to copycats. And the last thing we want to have to do is go and knock on somebody's door and tell them that their loved one has been seriously injured or killed as a result of a stunt of this kind.
A CP Rail spokesman says CP Rail police also have the right to lay other charges under the Railway Safety Act.
Regardless of whatever comments are made from the individual, this type of behavior, it does promote this type of illegal activity, whether that's not the intention or not. It is an extremely dangerous behavior and an illegal behavior.
Corthius says he knew that jumping off the bridge was illegal, but he never expected it would receive this much attention. Not only has the video gone viral, but Corthius has been overwhelmed with offers to help pay the fine. He says he won't be accepting any money. He says he broke the law and he'll pay the fine. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Corthius says he told police that he would never illegally jump off the bridge again, but he says he would do it for an event or a festival if it was legally arranged and approved by CP Rail. A Jaffrey, BC man accused of criminal negligence causing death will have to stand trial. Judge Ron Webb handed down his decision in Cranbrook Court this morning, followed a preliminary hearing for 51-year-old George Phillips. Phillips is also facing a charge of careless storage of a firearm in connection to the shooting death of 17-year-old Michael Voth in Jaffrey of June of 2011. The teen was shot at the Phillips home, where a few young friends had gathered. RCMP report at the time of the incident, they'd indicated that a child had gotten a hold of a firearm and discharged it. A trial date has not yet been set. And a 50-year-old Fort Macleod man is facing charges after a crack cocaine bust in that community. This is what police uncovered after a search of a vehicle and home in Fort Macleod. Over $30,000 worth of crack cocaine, some marijuana and cash as well. The bust is through the Alert Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit with help from High River, Claire's home in Fort Macleod RCMP. Michael Lane, a taxi driver, faces a number of drug charges, including trafficking, possession, and having the proceeds of crime.
We believe he had one, maybe two more subjects that were trafficking for him. We're still looking into that. We also believe that he utilized his business, which was a taxi business, to obtain and traffic in the crack cocaine.
Over 400 police, RCMP and sheriffs work together through the province's alert program to help tackle serious and organized crime. So, Dory Rossiter, cold enough for you? You haven't heard that today at all, have you? No.
No, not once. I've heard it every place I've gone, and people don't like this cold. But the good news is none of us have to put up with it for very long, because as we head towards the weekend, and you'll see it in the 5-day forecast, temperatures are looking almost toasty. We'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Liking how that sounds. Thank you, Dory. Well, another Liberal leadership candidate is campaigning in southern Alberta today. This time it's civil trial lawyer David Bertschy, who is making stops in Lethbridge, Taber, Bow Island and Medicine Hat. Bertschy has been touring through the country by car, sharing his ideas and finding out about local issues. He spent several hours in Lethbridge lunching with party members, touring the college and meeting with student leaders at the university.
I'm focusing on all groups. I mean, the young and not so young. I think we can get great ideas from the young and not so young. New ideas don't necessarily come from only those under 25, but I'm listening to their concerns and addressing it with practical, effective policies that will be costed when we come out with the 7 major speeches I'm delivering across Canada.
Bertschy will be in Medicine Hat tonight. Meanwhile, Premier Alison Redford is ratcheting up the pressure on doctors in contract talks. In a conference call with party supporters last night, she said the province may bring back health premiums depending on how contract negotiations go with the province's 7,200 physicians. The premiums brought in $1 billion a year to the provincial coffers before being cancelled by former Premier Ed Stelmach in 2008. On CTV Morning Live today, Redford said if she does bring back the premiums, it won't be in the upcoming budget, which will be released in March. However, contract negotiations are an immediate priority.
We have wonderful public servants, whether they're doctors or teachers or people working in government in this province. And it's really important to compensate them well. But in tough times, maybe we can't compensate them as well as we used to. I mean, doctors really do make between 20 and 29% more in Alberta than they do in the rest of the country.
Redford says more telephone town halls with Albertans are planned ahead of the budget being handed down on March the 7th. The Royal Canadian Mint is just days away from retiring the penny. The 1-cent coin will be removed from circulation on February the 4th. The move comes after it was announced that production of the coin far exceeded its monetary value. As Jeanette Rocher reports, businesses are making adjustments because of the penny's retirement.
They're almost a nuisance, and it'd be nice to get rid of them.
For Canadian Tire General Manager Barry Ferguson, small change is a big pain. So he's not shedding any tears over the disappearance of Canada's smallest coin.
And it's just, it'll make things quicker for the cashiers and in the cash office because there's one less thing that they have to count, right?
The Royal Canadian Mint says it costs 1.6 cents to make one of these, and that's just too expensive and unnecessary. But it means customers may pay the price because retailers won't be able to give exact change anymore. Tim Hortons has been prepping for weeks with signage informing customers of the penny phase-out.
Tim Hortons will still accept the penny. We will just not be giving them back to guests as change. So we will be rounding our total down or up in the change due back to our guests. And so if we owe you $1.01, we will give you $1. If we owe you $1.03, we will owe you $1.05.
Over at TD Bank, Lynn Fraser says some customers have been feeling a bit anxious about the whole thing.
There's a misconception out there that once February 4th arrives, we won't take their pennies anymore, which is absolutely not true.
She says customers can still bring in rolls of pennies for cash.
But we are also going to be receiving in the next couple of days here plastic bags that will hold exactly $25. And once they're sealed, we can ship them off that way.
As for Ferguson, well, his 2 cents is that the whole thing will be a seamless transition.
I'm sure you might get the odd one complaining if their sales rounding up 2 cents versus rounding down 2 cents, but really, I don't think it's going to be a major problem.
Jeanette Rocher, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Okay, so here's the deal. Rounding will only occur on cash purchases. The price will remain the same to the penny on all credit or debit card transactions. A major bank is throwing its support behind young entrepreneurs. The 9th annual Chinook Entrepreneur Challenge got underway today. ATB Financial handed over a donation of $10,000 to the event. The winning business plans will be unveiled in June. The winners will receive up to $75,000 in funding. Organizers say business ideas need more than just money to get off the ground, but it's a good start.
Most entrepreneurs are excellent at what they do. They just don't have the management skills. So that's what we try to provide. So between our partnerships, between everybody that we bring in to help run the Chinook Entrepreneur Challenge, that's where the real benefit is to the businesses, right? I mean, cash is king, but knowledge goes way, way further.
Training sessions start on February the 6th. Now, the idea of jumping into a freezing cold lake in the middle of winter is certainly not appealing to everyone, but that's what local law enforcement officials will be doing on February the 2nd in support of the Special Olympics. The polar plunge will take place at Nicholas Sharon Lake. If you'd like to join them, you can contact the Lethbridge Regional Police. And the city of Lethbridge is now accepting applications for census takers. Workers will be needed for a 3-week period starting on April the 1st. You have to be 18 years of age and able to walk long distances to apply. You can find the application online at lethbridge.ca or by visiting City Hall. We all know what it's like to have a sleepless night, but you might be surprised to know that horses can also experience sleep problems. We have more in tonight's report from Farm TV.
Is your horse sleep deprived? Dr. Joe Bertone is professor of equine medicine at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Western University of Health Sciences in Sonoma, California. Dr. Bertone gave a fascinating presentation about horse sleep requirements and problems at the Horse Industry Association of Alberta Horse Breeders and Owners Conference in Red Deer, Alberta. How much sleep do horses need?
They're not like us. They don't need. So, for example, us, it's always said we need 8 hours full or 2 4-hour breaks or 3. It depends a lot, you know, that whole big period. And we need it every day in a 24-hour period. Horses in general, if left totally by themselves in a non-migratory situation, so in a stable pasture with a stable hierarchy of other animals in the stall, they'll probably spend somewhere between about 4 hours a day in what's called diffuse drowsiness, or they'll go recumbent and they'll either be in slow wave sleep or in paradoxical sleep.
Farm TV is brought to you by DA Building Systems.
And on to the financial markets now. Where was an up day for most of the financials?